just right. Here I am. Yeah, baby. All I need sugar and all that I own. For you, little darling, I'd bring it on home. Look no further than your telephone. Just call me. Oh, baby. Girl, don't you ever doubt me. I've dreamed about it all of my life. And I know you've been hurt. I know how you feel. Honey, you can count on me to love you over and over, over again. Honey, you know that lover, love you over and over, over again. Oh, baby. I recall my brother telling me
What's up, everybody? Peace, 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 people. This is For Black Righteous Folks Home, or you can call me For Black for short, whatever way makes you comfortable. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. We're going to talk about the notion that people are very upset. Obama was very upset. He was very tight about Black people, mainly men, but there are plenty of women like myself that are in support of Trump. The polls are showing that it's a tie pretty much, but I believe Trump has an edge. I believe that the media is trying to make it seem as if it's a lot tighter than what it is because they have the power to influence and to make it look a certain way versus what it really is. But we're going to get into the fact that we're not fooled about Trump with Project so-called 2025. People are trying to make it seem like this notion of this project that Trump is supposed to be endorsing, but it is not his project. It is the Heritage Project, and we're not being fear-mongered. We're not going with this notion of believing in the lies that they're telling about Trump. We don't have faith in Kamala like people would like us to have. And she ain't Black. She's not a part of our Black American lineage here in America. Shout out to Carol Williams for saying that. Her platform isn't good for anyone. Exactly. First, I want to show where, the polls are being shown to be tied, but it's really not tied. And then we're going to get into conservative people speaking out about their support for Trump, despite what Obama called himself trying to do. Let's get to the first video. All videos are going to be under fair use of the Copyright Act of 1976, 107, for education, observation, commentary, scholarship, all the above, not meaning to infringe, but to inform. So let's get to the first video. And if you guys don't mind, please like the video. I know I have a lot of people that like watching my video. You spend time watching the video. I've been looking at the analytics, but for some reason, not a lot of people are liking the video. So I don't get that. But all you have to do is hit the three little buttons at the top right-hand corner, and then it allows you to hit the thumbs up. Please do so. Let's go.
I am joined now by national political correspondent Steve Kornacki to take us through all of the numbers. Steve, boy, this is a big one.
Yeah, Kristen, numbers say it is a tie game here weeks before the election, and it's that shift. Our last poll taken in the wake of that September debate, Harris had opened up that advantage over Trump. Gone in our new poll. What goes into that? What's behind that? I think this one is revealing. This is the basic perception voters have of these candidates. Is it positive? Is it negative? Now, these are not great numbers for either one. Trump 43 positive, 51 negative. He's 8 points underwater, you might say. But look at Harris. Exact same positive score and that negative number almost in the exact same place. And this is it. The last time we polled this question after that debate, Harris had really made up ground in this area. Look, she had a positive rating, 48 to 45. So that advantage has all in the last few weeks in our poll washed away for her. Then there's some issues, some characteristics here. These are advantages in red here that you see for Trump now versus September. On the immigration and the border, we asked voters who would be better on this. In September, Trump had a big advantage. It's gotten bigger. On inflation and the cost of living, Trump's advantage now hits double digits. And on the question of who represents change, Harris had the advantage in September. She still does, but lower.
So significant because voters are telling us change is a critical issue for them, not the direction you want to be going in there, Steve.
No, absolutely not. And maybe a reason for that, too, is remember, she's the VP in an unpopular administration. Look, we asked Joe Biden's policies as president. Do you think they're helping or hurting your family? Look at that. Almost 2 to 1 say hurting more than helping. His job approval rating is in the low 40s. And then here's the twist. When you ask folks, when Trump was president, were his policies helping or hurting? Look at that difference. 44% say helping, 31% say they hurt. So retrospectively, Trump is getting some numbers here. Maybe he didn't even get when he was president. And then this is, in perspective, the challenge that Harris faces. These are the modern vice presidents like Harris, incumbent vice presidents, running while their boss was still in office. And just look, 88, George Bush Sr., his boss Reagan had nearly a 60% approval rating. Bush won. 2000, Clinton was at 60%. Gore didn't win, but he won the popular vote. We can say that. And here's Harris and Biden. Just look how different the atmosphere is. Biden's approval rating in our poll, only 43 points. She's running in a totally different atmosphere than previous incumbent vice presidents did. And then we could talk about issues. This is an interesting way. Typically in the past, we've just given folks a list of issues, said, are they important? Here we've asked a question, is this issue so singularly important that it's the entire basis of your vote for president? And you could see abortion comes in number one there.
And that's so significant. This is the first presidential election after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Hugely significant. Abortion is at the top. Usually we're talking about the cost of living as being the energizing factor.
Absolutely. And I think the Harris folks, if they're looking for good news in this poll, it's this, because this issue is her biggest advantage over Donald Trump. And you can see, as you say, potentially a motivating factor. And one more note here, just got to show this. The gender gap. We always talk about gender gaps in presidential races, but how about this? Trump by 16 among men, Harris 14 among women. That is a 30-point difference between those two. If that happens on election day, that's one for the history books. We've never seen it that high.
Again, historic gender gap for sure. All right, Steve Kornacki, as always, great stuff. Thank you.
Now, the problem that we're having with the polls is that, it could be influenced by the media to make it seem a certain way that it's not. I believe Trump is leading a lot more than what is being realized. But we do have a significant issue because the Democrats, who are demonic as hell, are calling themselves trying to have the illegals have the ability to also vote. We have an issue, according to Daily Caller, where the DOJ sues Virginia over order removing illegal migrants from the voter rolls. So they're not playing fair. And this is a major issue that we're going to have with these illegal migrants, who are going to be able to vote, because the Democrats are fighting to go against the Constitution and our rights. And I don't understand why people would vote for Democrats, seeing how they're disrespecting our Constitution, disrespecting our rights as Americans. Now I'm going to read this. It says the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, sued Virginia on Friday over an executive order removing illegal migrants off the state's voter rolls, allegedly to close to Election Day. Now, somehow they got upset about this notion of banning and stopping and barring illegal migrants from voting. It goes on to read that Republican Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin signed Executive Order 35, which codifies election security measures, including voter list maintenance, on August 7. The lawsuit alleged the Virginia State Board of Elections and Virginia Commissioner of Elections Susan Bales violated the Federal National Voter Registration Act, NVRA, which says states may not clean up voter rolls 90 days before an election. Can you believe that, y'all? So this is breaking. Kamala's DOJ is suing the state of Virginia because they removed non-citizens from the voter rolls, y'all. How in the world could we want to deal with a Kamala that is very deceitful, very fraudulent, very dishonest, to try to squeeze in the migrants, these illegals, these non-citizens, and trying to enable them to vote? Y'all want to believe that this woman has integrity. Where is her integrity? She did this stuff on purpose. Her and Biden allowed these illegal aliens to come in. And now they want to sue Virginia, y'all. Let me go on to read that the Justice Department sues Virginia for violating federal laws prohibition on systematic efforts to remove voters within 90 days of an election. Let me get this screen up a little bit bigger. Come on. The Justice Department announced today that it has filed a lawsuit against the state of Virginia, Virginia State Board of Elections, and Virginia Commissioner of Elections to challenge a systematic state program aimed at removing voters from its election rolls too close to the November 5th general election in violation of the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. Section 8C2 of the NVRA, also known as the quiet period provision, requires states to complete systematic programs aimed at removing the names of ineligible voters from voter registration lists no later than 90 days before federal elections. The quiet period provision applies to certain systematic programs carried out by states that are aimed at striking names from voter registration lists based on a perceived failure to meet initial eligibility requirements, including citizenship at the time of registration. As the National Voter Registration Act mandates, officials across the country should take heed of laws crystal clear and unequivocal restrictions on systematic list maintenance efforts that fall within 90 days of an election, said Assistant Attorney General Christian Clark of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division. Now, these illegal aliens, they're trying to give them so-called civil rights. They're so-called trying to give them rights that are not deserving to them. This has been the premise of what Kamala and Biden's administration has been all along about. They want to push in as many people in to America to be able to flood the elections and be able to steal the election from us, from the Americans, and to assume power and hopefully keep the power for the duration of time. I'm very upset and livid, and I know that Trump is. I know that we are, as Americans are, and the only thing that can change this is for us to go out and vote for Trump in mass number. We cannot sit on the couch and assume that everything's going to be all right because of this type of thing going on. It goes on to read, by canceling voter registration within 90 days of election day, Virginia places qualified, so-called qualified voters in jeopardy of being removed from the rolls and creates the risk of confusion. Come on now. We're talking about people that are not even citizens, but this goes on to read that for the electorate. Congress adopted the National Voter Registration Act's quiet period restriction to prevent error-prone 11th hour efforts that all too often disenfranchise qualified voters. How are they qualified? They're trying to make them qualified, irregardless. They say the right to vote is the cornerstone of our democracy, and the Justice Department will continue to ensure the rights of qualified voters are protected. They want to preserve rights for illegals, y'all. This is why I'm voting for Trump, because the Democrats are trying to steal from us as Americans and take power from us for good. This election is the most important election that we will ever have because of this. And I have a video to also talk about these illegals being able to vote. But we have, the tide is turning, that Americans, Black Americans, all over the place are seeing the light. They are waking up and they're coming out saying that they're going to vote for Trump, and people are pissed by that. And we got to come out more to vote because of this issue with these illegals that are going to be able to somehow be squeezed in to be able to vote. And it's a crying shame that this is the reality that we face. We are in the twilight zone right now, folks.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Always great to be with you. You can follow me on X, Page Live Now. Love to hear from all of our great viewers. Well, we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. Just 32 days to go until the election, and Republicans are getting worried about the amount of non-citizens that are on voting rolls right now. There has been a lot of purges across the different states, and that is getting Congress Republicans a little bit scared about, okay, if they're purging, just how many more are left on the rolls. And that is sending Congress now sending a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland demanding some answers. So let's get right into it here for you on Live Now from Fox, as we bring you always the most top stories and live feeds all right here. Dozens of lawmakers in the House and Senate are calling for more information from the Justice Department about efforts to stop non-citizen voting in federal elections, which they call a, quote, serious threat to election integrity, citing officials in multiple states who have identified non-citizens on their voter rolls. A letter from 73 lawmakers led by Senator Bill Hagerty and Representative Andy Biggs sent it. Attorney General Merrick Garland said that they were deeply concerned by reports of non-citizens registering to vote and voting in federal elections, and had not received a response from an inquiry in July on the matter here. And what I have
now, this is not being done by the Republicans. This is being done by the Democrats. By the Democrats, they're not playing fair. They are hungry and thirsty to remain in power. It is a crying shame that people would consider even voting for a Democrat when they're demonic as hell. We have got to change this around to maintain our power as Americans, our rights, our liberties, our freedoms, our choices to vote. You know, taking away our rights to vote by intermingling non-citizens is canceling out real Americans' votes. This is not cool to do, but Democrats are doing this. They are the culprits behind all of this, and we should not reward them.
the full letter, and I'm going to read it for everyone here on Live Now from Fox, because remember, I'm always looking out for you as we have the full letter. I'm going to read it out right here on Live Now from Fox, everybody. Let's bring it to you. This is the letter from more than 70 Republicans. Dear Attorney General Garland, we are deeply concerned by reports of non-citizens registering to vote and voting in federal elections. As of today, there has been no response from you or your department regarding the inquiry on July 12, 2024, seeking information on efforts undertaken by your department to enforce laws prohibiting non-citizen voting. Given that the 2024 presidential election is now less than 34 days, your department's inaction and refusal to provide any information regarding its efforts to promote public trust and confidence in our elections is especially alarming. Since the initial letter, several more concerning reports have been released by state officials, indicating that a large number of non-citizens appear on their voter rolls. For example, the Virginia Attorney General recently announced that 6,300 non-citizens were identified on and removed from Virginia voter rolls in 2022 and 2023. In another troubling report released in August, over 6,500 non-citizens registered to vote in Texas were identified and removed from voter rolls. Of the 6,500 non-citizens identified, nearly 2,000 had a voter history. Clearly, there is non-negligible amount of voter participation by non-citizens in federal elections, which is not only a serious threat to the integrity of our elections and the democratic process they represent, but also the potential to reduce Americans' trust and confidence in election results. Accordingly, we respectfully reiterate the July 12th request for information on your department's enforcement efforts. The initial deadline for providing this information was July 26, 2024, so the response is now 9 weeks overdue. Please provide responses to the following no later than October 16th, 2024. Including, please provide the number of aliens who have been charged, tried, or convicted under 18 U.S.C. 611 since January 20th, 2021, including the status of each case. Please provide the number of aliens who have been charged, tried, or convicted since January 20th, 2021, including the status of each case. Please provide the number of aliens who have been prosecuted under 18 U.S.C. 9/11 since 2021, including the status of each case. Please provide the number.
Now, why do we have to go through all of these changes for illegals, y'all? Why is this even a thing? But this is the situation that is at large because of the Democrats' inability to be honest and fair and reasonable and allowing the Constitution to be the manuscript for how we maneuver in this election. They want to play unfair. They want to stay in power, and they're thirsty enough to dismantle America overall so that they can stay in power. This is disgusting. This is disturbing, and this is really the case that's going on.
Of referrals received from other government officials or the public in reference to the statutes cited in questions 1 through 3. How does the Department of Justice investigate allegations received of non-citizen voting or voter registration? What affirmative steps have the Department of Justice taken to detect, prevent, and deter illegal aliens and non-citizens from registering and voting in federal elections? What affirmative steps?
And you know damn well they're not deterring them. They're telling them what to do. They're showing them how to be able to sign on so that they could be a part of this procedure of voting, even though they're not citizens. Those are the Democrats that are doing that. And people thinking to be loyal to the Democrats when they're doing this type of thing, shame on you. This is what's wrong with our society right now. Look around. Look at what's going on with America right now. All the things that's going on wrong is because of Democrats.
The department taken to obtain relevant information from the Department of Homeland Security on aliens who have registered or voted in elections. What steps have taken by U.S. attorneys in the Public Integrity Section of the Criminal Division, which is responsible for prosecuting election crimes and assisting U.S. attorneys in prosecuting election crimes to obtain jury-related information that indicates aliens have unlawfully registered to vote? As the 2024 election...
And there's just no way of knowing how many of them have registered to vote, y'all. So it's very imperative that we take this serious about voting this time around to make it too big to rig. Do not sit on the couch. Do not assume that Trump's going to win because of, he should win because it's close or whatever like that. Don't have those thoughts. Get out and get voting. Please register to vote right now, ASAP. Please disallow this tragedy of civil rights and our freedoms and our Constitution getting disrespected like this.
Years, what steps will the department take to detect, investigate, and prosecute non-citizens who violate election laws? What steps have the department taken to contact Virginia and Texas election officials to obtain information and the voter registration and voter history files on each of the aliens removed from the voter rolls who were unlawfully registered and voted in those states? Thank you for your attention to this matter, and we look forward to your prompt.
And there's just no way of knowing, y'all. So this is why it's very imperative that we stay very fired up about voting. I'm glad that more Black people are speaking out about their support for Trump. Let me get to this next video. This next video is calling out Obama for scolding, so-called bashing them, Black men, into submission to vote for Kamala, even though it's against their better judgment and interest. And they're not having it. And they're coming out and letting it be known to tell Trump basically to F himself.
Barack Obama, do you think people have to do what you say? You act like you own us. You act like you own Black people. You don't own me. So no, Barack, I'm not going to support Kamala Harris because you said that is my duty as a young Black man.
And now you have the audacity to try to shame Black brothers to vote for Kamala? She ain't one of us.
You don't even live in Chicago anymore. You left your Black community, Barack Obama. And you want to tell us how to vote? We're not having it. And we're not voting for Kamala Harris.
Black conservatives all over social media of all different ages have come out against Barack Obama after he had a message saying that the brothers are not supporting Kamala Harris, and that is an issue. They don't really recognize how much she relates to them, and we need to do something about this. I need to wake you guys up. These guys, these Black conservatives, they came out with different messages. Many other ones, not as prominent on social media, came out with videos as well. We'll jump into those. But first, it's Sean Daniel here. And second, let's see what Barack Obama said directly to these group of brothers about the lack of support for Kamala Harris in the Black community.
Communities, we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all.
Because you're in trouble.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, and on the one hand, you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. It's time to work harder and do more and overcome.
I mean, he was talking to them like they were his bitches, like they were little boys. This was truly something to behold, but I'm so glad that it backfired, and a lot of Black men are mad, and a lot of them now are motivated to vote against what Obama called himself trying to do, trying to disparage them and talk to them like children. This was really ridiculous.
And achieves second highest office in the land.
I mean, I'm irritated just hearing this derogatory tone and messaging that Barack Obama is saying about how hard you have it as a black person. She relates to your struggle, your pain.
Okay, this article is going to change your life if you've been injured in a recent car accident. So, car accident victims are getting paid major.
Have it as a black person. She relates to your struggle, your pain. It's talking to them like they're not capable, like they have it so much worse. And a lot of these black conservatives, they are not having it, starting with C.J. Pearson, 22 years old, amazingly well-spoken. Fun fact, all these guys that we've covered, I have met every single one of them, worked with some of them, except Vernon Jones. I don't know about him. Let's go.
President Obama yesterday cut a lecture supporting Kamala Harris just because she, quote, looks like me. Yo, so I'm C.J. Pearson, one of the young black men that President Obama yesterday cut a lecture supporting Kamala Harris just because she, quote, looks like me. Now, guys, I don't know about y'all, but I think that my ancestors fought far too hard for my right to vote in this country for me to support someone just because they look like me. Especially when that person who looks like me doesn't give a damn about me. Kamala Harris, for her entire political career, hasn't done a single thing for black people, black men, or anyone, actually, for that matter. She failed to secure the border. She hasn't created a single job. She is actually probably uniquely terrible at her job. Barack Obama, another person who didn't do a damn thing for black people when he was president, believes that black men should set aside our disagreements, set aside our grievances, and just take one for the team. Barack, we've been taking one for the team when it comes to supporting the Democrat Party for decades. And what do we have to show for it? Our inner cities are destroyed. Violent crime is up. We are living in poverty in too many communities across this country. That is the reality of progressive policies in this country and all across America. So no, Barack, I'm not going to support Kamala Harris because you said that is my duty as a young black man. No, I'm going to support Donald Trump, the president who actually delivered for black people, brought about the lowest black unemployment rate in our nation's history, the president who actually gave a damn about our community. That's not rocket science, Barack. It's common sense.
CJ is so good, and he's only 22. I met him when he was, I think, like 17, 16. And he does this off-the-cuff, well-put-together sentences, not just on a little video for social media. He does it in front of crowds. He does it in front of a crowd where the president is backstage. I've seen it. Without a script, it's impressive. Now let's jump to funny man Terrence Williams. Oh, Terrence.
I'm giving everybody a fair warning right now. You might not like my language in this video, so move on if you have sensitive ears. And also, send this video to Barack Obama. Barack Obama, I need to holler at you. Sit down so I can holler at you and look at me when I'm talking to you. Okay? So, it took me a day to respond because I wanted to give you time to think about how stupid you sound. When you say you are ashamed that black people are not supporting Kamala Harris. And Barack Obama, do you not realize that this is America? You are a former president. So you should realize, so you should know that this is America. And black people have the right to vote for and support whoever they want. Black people have the right to support and vote for whoever they want. I have the right to wear this red hat. I have the right to support Trump. Black people don't have to support Kamala Harris. Barack Obama, do you think people have to do what you say? We don't have to do what you say. Who do you think you are? You are not God. We don't have to worship you.
True. You
want us to get down on our knees and worship you and bow down to you, boy, bye. Do you think you are the ruler of black people? Do you think you are the king of the black community?
It's true.
Huh? No.
He is acting like he's our Messiah. He is acting like he's still got the same mojo that he had back in 2008 when everybody came out and voted. But he's let us down 2 different terms. He doesn't have the same mojo. He doesn't have the same power or influence over us. We're over him. We don't give a damn about him. And he needs to understand that. But he brought his tired ass out here, scolding black American men Luckily, he didn't say nothing about women, but still, that still is wagging fingers though at us subliminally. Like, look, I'm not gonna be harsh on you women and all, because some of y'all still are in the Democratic demonic camp. But you better follow the lead of what I'm saying to do, or else. Look at how he's looking.
You own us. You act like you own black people. You don't own me.
Terrence makes a lot of good points, about the depthness with which Barack likes to get worshipped, and to call out these guys that they need to vote for Kamala just because they are black and she is black, when really, that has no merit on really anything. You don't just want to be friends with somebody because of their skin color. You don't want to hire someone just because of their skin color. But can we tell Terrence, bro, you've been doing this for 6 years since I met you. I should text him. Terrence, why do you not flip your camera so it's not reversed and we can actually read what's on your hat? You think with millions of followers he would know what he's doing. Now let's hear what David J. Harris Jr. has to say. Worked with David many times, done videos for him. All right, David, let's see what you got.
My, have the tides shifted? Are you kidding me? Barack Obama. I didn't vote for you either time. I saw right through you back then, and unfortunately, so many of my black brothers and sisters, my own family, they couldn't see through you. But now they can. You coming out, trying to shame black men into voting for Kamala? Are you freaking kidding me? You sound like a slave master trying to get your slaves back on the plantation. Well, Barack Hussein Obama, I always appreciated the fact that Obama, as an acronym, could also be mentioned. One big ass mistake, America. You didn't do nothing for the black community when you were in office. You pandered to the LGBTQ community, though. Oh, yeah, you pandered to them. You lit up the White House in rainbow colors and everything. What'd you do for the black community? Sure. What'd you do for America? Other than just inflame the race tensions in America. Yeah, that's right. You invited Black Lives Matter to the White House. You shamed Dallas police. You inflamed and stirred up racism in this country like nothing before. It wasn't Trump. It was you, Barack Obama. And now you have the audacity to try to shame black brothers to vote for Kamala. She ain't one of us. She's not pro-American. She's pro-illegal immigrant, period. Shame on you. I'm glad my black, brown, and white brothers and sisters are seeing right through you.
And it is a big deal that Obama was willing to go to an office, a campaign office, and publicly share out loud that, hey, we don't have that much support, and basically just try to guilt trip people. That's pretty eye-opening, because to realize it behind closed doors is one thing, but to publicly share that we don't really have this much support for this black woman, that is a whole nother level, which should tell you really how bad it really is. Let's hear from Vernon Jones, who is a guy who I believe ran for office before.
Before I let Vernon Jones start, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I really appreciate those that have participated in the chat room. Thank you all for appearing, and all my moderators. I really love and appreciate you guys' support. Thank you for everything that you guys do continuously. I really appreciate it. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat before I continue. Afro Goddess says, please hit the like button, share, and support the channel. We appreciate you. Exactly. Monique says, well, she's speaking back to Afro Goddess. Let's get our country back. Watered down T says, exactly. Foxy says they can't control you and it pisses them off. Yes, it is. They're coming out the woodworks, but that's not the end of it, Foxy, because I'm pretty sure many more celebrities are going to be dispatched and other shills are going to be up in uproar trying to get us to do what they wanted to do, but we're not going. And I think that they're understanding that we now have a different spirit and a different aura about us right now more than ever. We're not under the spell that we have been under, and it's really pissing a lot of people off. Tyron says, what up? What's up to you too, Tyron? Thank you for coming through. I haven't seen you in a while. Trump, nobody says. Exactly. And let me see. We need our country back. Father of Issa says. Exactly. The Dallas man says she's talking much but saying nothing. Where is your evidence? No evidence, no crime. Dallas man, you can go somewhere else with your nonsense. Trump 2024, exactly. Dak dog. Foxy said, I saw Obama wagging his finger at voters. Exactly. It's a crying shame. Father of Issa says, we can't let them take away our freedoms. That's what they're trying to do. And I want people to understand it. And Foxy says, like you're a child. Exactly. That's what they're calling themselves trying to do. Let me see. He's so condescending in this clip. Yes, he was, Foxy. A lot of lies on this channel, just talking hate, just spreading fear. Dallas, man, you can be timed out just for a little bit to reconsider your mindset, or you can go elsewhere. I don't care. Dallas, let me see. Pinky says that video was worse than most think. Obama was coaching them on how to scold other black men not supporting Kamala. Yeah, a lot of people are going to get the same type of condescending bullshit talk that they heard from Obama. They're going to be coming out trying to trip us up, but I hope that we stand firm on our convictions. Yeah, this isn't shady at all, totally not manipulative. It was manipulative. I don't know what you mean by that, Chaos Angel. And welcome to the chat room, everybody. Please be respectful, and then you won't get timed out. Anyways, it looks like, all right. Chaos Angel says, you know, it's still gonna suck if Trump does win because everything will get better. But once his 4 years is up, we're going to go back to how we are now. Don't say that, Chaos Angel. Maybe somebody else will come along that will also take up the reins like Trump has done and want to preserve America and our Constitution. So don't lose hope and faith. Nitty says, I'm black and I make over 100,000 K a year and I will be you said I will be no matter who's president. Okay, well, Nitty, you need to think about how the country is going though. Just because you're going to be okay doesn't mean that the vast majority of us will be fine. You should want to consider how the landscape of America will be looking, how our laws will be looking, how policies will be looking, how rights will be given away to people that never earned it. Do you know that my people died for us to have these rights? Blood was shed. Blood and death happened. Sacrifices happened. And now we have illegals just coming over here, gaining rights that they don't deserve, talking about they're entitled for this and that and the other. Very disrespectful. We can't do that in other countries. They shouldn't be able to do that over here. So please consider other people besides yourself. You got to do that. American Cigar Indian says, what's up? It's insane that Kamala's DOJ is now suing Virginia because they are removing the illegal immigrants off the voters' rolls. Yes, thank you for that bit of information you shared with me. I really appreciate you, American Cigar Indian. Chris says Trump, exactly. Pinky says to Nitty, and you are a complete fool if you think that 100K will have the same buying power if you have a president that doesn't give a F about Americans' economy. Exactly. Like the cost of living right now, a lot of people are really struggling right now. So Gritty again, or Giddy, Nitty, whatever your name is, Nitty, you should think outside the box and look at the whole entire picture and understand that our rights are up for grabs by illegals. If you don't consider that, I don't know what's wrong with you. Chaos Angel says he let us down for 8 years and then his VP let us down for 4 and then his VP is going to ruin things even more. Who are you talking about? You talking about Biden? Or you talking about Obama? Yeah, Obama didn't do anything for anybody. Trump 2024, exactly. Much love to you, Afro Goddess, as well. I hope all is well. Let's get these perverts out of office. Ad Victorium says exactly. Vote red and save America. William Brake says exactly. Pinky says, I'm happy Obama went after black men. If he had got at black women, most black men would run out to support Kamala. Oh, yeah, I feel you. I feel you there, Pinky. Rockefeller says this live stream shows us that Trump voters need to go retake a history civics class. No, it doesn't, Rockefeller. Don't be disrespectful or you're going to get timed out. Let me see. Okay, bless. Okay, yes, love y'all all too. Thanks for the dedication, American Civil Cigar Indian says, yes, for sure. Can't go through another years like we just been burdened by. Need to be you burdened by what was done. Okay, blessed nostress. Haven't voted for a Democrat in over 20 years. Pinky says, see, you've been on the right track of mind thinking. I wish I would have known better back in 2008. I wish I would have never, my first time, voted for Obama. I really feel guilted, even after all this time, to ever have voted for Obama. Rockefeller says, don't pretend that you give a shit about the Constitution when you vote for the guy that ignored it. Anyways, let me give you a timeout because you are starting to get on my nerves. Let me time you out for 30 minutes. Give you a time to get your mind right, Rockefeller. Unemployed says Trump said he would get rid of the Constitution if he had to, literally his words. I never heard him say that, so you got to show me that clip. Trump 2024. In other words, he said he doesn't care about anybody else. GC says, I'm not sure what you mean by that. People have a huge disconnect between politics and happenings of their daily lives. Okay, I'll vote for Trump again, Bill says, exactly. You can go away, Rockefeller. I don't know why you're still here. In fact, let me just remove you for good because you are distracting. Let me just time you out for good. Bye. Get out of here. Hold on, why is it not removed you yet? Somehow, get rid of Rockefeller. I don't know why it won't let me remove him. Something's going on with my... See, are you gone? Okay. Yes, we are voting for Trump. I'm voting for Trump and many others are voting for Trump. Go Trump. Ain't nobody fear-mongering, so I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't nobody preaching hate or any of that. We're preaching and teaching facts. Okay, I just saved what little brain cells you have left, Rockefeller. Piggy says, people little nitty can't and don't know how to look at the bigger picture. What's best for America is what's best for Americans, exactly. A vote for Trump is a vote for democracy, exactly. Willie Brown has such a big willie that Kamala still thinks he has some black in her. Heart bleeds for you. That's funny. Obama fined me $1,000 for not being able to afford health care. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. That's why we need to have maybe a little tweaking of the Obamacare for all we know. The biggest disrespect us taking place right now to the citizens of America. Yeah, what's going on with these with the migrants being able to so-called vote? That is so disrespectful. God bless you. Thank you for standing up for what you believe in. Thank you for that, John Doe. Sean says you are truly lost. Either way, we are screwed. We are pawns. Wait and see. You say what you want, but if you can't see that all of us are not them and we are done, I want to have more hope than that, Sean. A little bit more hope. 4 more years of this and we won't be able to afford ramen noodles. Trump, facts, meant to say be unburdened by what was done. Oh yeah. John Ireland says, how can a black American not feel lied to by Kamala? Exactly. What kind of person spreads hate, lies, and chaos during a national emergency? Only the worst kind of person. I don't know what you're talking about. The whole idea is just outright cap. Mystic says. Okay. Yeah, thank you for removing him. He was a nutty bar. Donald J. Trump back in the White House for American people back in control. We love you. I have already done my vote for Trump train. Exactly, Kimberly. You guys forget what the rain looks like. You think that the city's fallen right came from 4 years. I don't know what you mean by that. No tax on Social Security. Trump 2024. Exactly. Don't worry. Simpson says he has 2 more years. That's right. 3 terms means the last one is martial law. Okay. I don't know what you mean by that. Let's get back to the last part of this clip. And please hit the like. I would greatly appreciate it. Where was I? Hold on. Okay, hold on. Here we go.
You've ran for office before, former county executive, former state representative. Let's hear what Vernon has to say. He's the one I do not know. I've never worked with this guy. I don't know him. Worked with a lot of the black conservatives.
Hello, America, and hello, Georgia. I'm Vernon Jones, former state representative from the great state of Georgia. And I'm out doing my normal morning jog. By the way, it's a great day to be in Georgia. It's a beautiful fall day. But anyhow, I just had to pause for the cause. I, like many of you, observed and listened and watched Barack Obama last night as he addressed black men. But as a black man, he did everything but address us. What he did, he berated black men, he rebuked black men, he even scolded black men. Primarily because we will not fall in line and vote for Madam Lock-Upper Brother, Kamala Harris, because that's her record. As if black men are too stupid that we can't vote our self-interest, what's best for us, our pocketbook, our families. As if we've been immune to the past 3.5 years, as if we don't know that gas prices have been higher under Kamala Harris, food prices higher under Kamala Harris, interest rates on home mortgages higher under Kamala Harris, and runaway borders under Kamala Harris. But you know what? That's what the liberal white Democratic Party did. They dispatched Barack Obama out there to whip black men back on the plantation to vote Democrat. And you know, President Obama, he meant a lot to black people, but he didn't do anything for black people. And for him to want to come down from his mansion in Martha's Vineyard and tell black men how we should vote, really? You don't even live in Chicago anymore. You left your black community, Barack Obama, and you want to tell us how to vote? We're not having that, and we're not voting for Kamala Harris.
One thing I can appreciate about Vernon compared to everybody else is that he was just poignant and to the point, just like CJ was. Because in social media age, having worked for these guys, been around it, you can have this like contest of outrage. Who can give the most attention-seeking answer and outrage, which we saw right here with David Harris's video. How can I be as outraged and irritated by what Obama said without just...
Well, I don't think that that's important. What's important is that they are outraged. I think that sometimes you need to have anger to help motivate you. So I don't know what he's talking about. I think all guys that spoke met their goal to let it be known that Obama is not making them budge in their conviction. Now we have this issue with immigration, this migrant crisis, and as this gentleman is about to explain it, John Anderson Media, I don't know if that's his name, but it's coming from this YouTuber by the name of John Anderson Media, is talking about illegal immigration as being used as welfare, as warfare, not welfare, but warfare. That's what the Democrats are using the illegal migrants crisis for warfare, y'all.
But one of the things that you said that struck me in your most recent, again in The Dying Citizen, was that states must privilege citizens over mere residents. Citizens must live within established borders, sharing a sacred physical space.
There's three problems. Financially, it's destroying the budgets of these cities. They cannot have, and communities. 8 million people are 8 8 San Franciscos we've had, basically, greater San Francisco. It's just, we don't have the wherewithal to handle it. Number 2 is we have no way of auditing anybody. So 2 days ago it was announced that somebody came in and he was an Iraqi who wanted to kill George W. Bush. And they've known about it, and they arrested him. And he was smuggling other Iraqis in to kill him. We're in my community, we've had 3 sexual predators that have come in. So there's nobody has any idea who these people are, except many of them are encouraged to immigrate from Venezuela, Central America, and Mexico, precisely because the countries don't want them to come in their country. They want them to come here. It's kind of a way of immigration warfare against the United States. The third thing is the asymmetry. So Americans ask themselves, if you're a Black American and you have social service needs and you have a civic center in New York, why are you giving that over to illegal aliens that have broke the law by coming and residing? Or why, when they told all Americans you must have something called a real ID, that means that your driver's license will not get you on a plane next year. You must have a passport or a birth certificate, a proof of residence, and a driver's license. And then they're letting people get on planes with no ID who are illegal aliens, and they're flying them all around the country. And so if you're in the military, we expelled 8,400 of our best soldiers because they were young people. They said there's no danger of COVID. Many of them, the majority of them, had COVID with natural immunity, and now we're letting in 8 million people. 2.5 million came in during COVID in 2021 when we were still under initial lockdown, and there was no requirement at all that they have background health checks, vaccination records. So it was the sheer, and I said that in The Dying Citizen, that we were getting to the point in the West where we privileged the illegal alien over the citizen, and that's not sustainable. And if you don't have a border, then your responsibilities become global. You have to take care of everybody, and you're not modest in saying we can handle, between Canada and Mexico, we can create a very unique culture, but we have no ability to bring in sizable populations without, legality, English, high school diploma, diversity from the places they come. And so it's been an ungodly disaster. It shares a wider pathology with you in Australia, with people in Canada, with people in Europe, that have these people within our societies that either because they're globalists and they feel that borders are a 19th century construct and shouldn't exist, that we're an ecumenical world community, that it's okay.
And that's what the Democrats are carrying themselves as globalists. They are rocking with George Soros, for instance. He is an open society, wants open borders, basically wants to make America into a third world country like Venezuela. And the way that we're going is how it's starting to look like that. If we keep a Democrat in office, it's going to mimic more and more like a third world country. We cannot sustain these migrants. And this guy is explaining this fact. They're using immigration as warfare here in America, like they have been using it in the UK and other places, over flooding and overloading, overbearing the economies, causing inflation and the cost of living to go higher and higher and higher. And we can feel the pinch. We can feel the squeeze. And I'm saying that Trump needs to be the man that will be the president, not Kamala Harris, because she's going to keep going with what Biden has done. She says in her own words that she is no different than Biden. So why would we choose her when she's not going to do anything different than Biden has done? Okay?
Or more pernicious, they feel that the Western heritage in Europe and the United States on the frontier, Australia, is nothing to be proud of. In fact, it's a shame. We're neo-colonialist, enslavers, etc. imperialists, and therefore we owe it for people of the non-West to let in without any appreciation of the hardship and sacrifice and courage it took from all of our ancestors that we have to settle the Western United States, to go into a godforsaken natural terrain like Australia and to create that beautiful civilization out of nothing, and yet to try to make people feel guilty about that wonderful achievement by leveraging them or blackmailing to let people into the country that are not audited. And so the final thing, it's absurd. Here in the United States, we ask ourselves, when we look at Europe and Australia and we look in the mirror, we say, it's a disconnect. As soon as these people come in, they have claims against us. They're told by our left that they have affirmative action prerogatives, that we're racist. But if it's so bad, why would they want to come? And nobody can answer that question. When you ask the immigrants, why do you want to come? I want to come because I have no freedom, or I have no economic future. Well, why would you have an economic future in Australia or Britain or the United States and not in Venezuela or Ghana or Haiti? And the answer is self-evident. And yet we can't, as a Western culture, say that. We don't have anything to be guilty about. We did far better than the alternative. We do not have to be perfect to be good. And if without a border and a unique civilization and people who will assimilate into it gradually, legally, and willfully, we're not going to have a country that's the pathology of Westerns.
And that's my point in letting that clip play. We will not have a country if we continue to allow this migrant crisis to get out of hand. This is why this election is more important than any other election in my lifetime. And I hope that people really heed the warning that I'm showcasing. But people are really up in arms about us having our own mind, coming out of the Democratic plantation and thinking for ourselves in our own best interest. They don't want that. So here's a small clip from X or Twitter where this guy lost his mind with the notion of Black people not supporting Kamala more than 90%. Listen to this. This is really ridiculous on how he ranted right here. Let me find it. Hold on. If you have not yet, please do me a favor by hitting the like. I would greatly appreciate it.
Oh, we might not have a fucking vote. The fuck are we talking about? Y'all happy with that 85% of Black men that vote for Democrats? Y'all think that's something that, oh, yeah, but we da-da-da. No, nigga, it could be in the 90th percentile. The fuck is we talking about? Raising up my goddamn blood pressure. Because at one time, we said come together as a goddamn community to protect Black women. We can't do it. I hate this shit. I hate what this goddamn election has done to our goddamn people. You make me hate niggas. I hate you niggas. I swear to fucking God. So I stay away from niggas. The fuck are we talking about? The motherfuckers trying to tell us that we need to get our ass.
So he was really about to have a heart attack right there. He is a Democrat and he's upset that the polls are showing that Kamala Harris is not having over 90% of the Black vote. And he said all that because of that. Lost his mind. Let's look at this ad to talk about this so-called change that she's not doing.
This is the Jim Heath Channel playlist of 2024 campaign ads.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers. Would you have done something differently? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13
illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Gut-wrenching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022.
Two men they are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Oh, really? 18%. So the economy is in excellent or good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
Last person in the room that could not do anything and doesn't care to do anything and will not do anything as president except do the same thing that Biden has done. She's not going to change anything. She's going to follow the blueprint of Biden. And we already see what the blueprint of Biden is. A lot of people are struggling and suffering under what Biden and Kamala Harris has already done. Now, again, I'm so happy that more and more Black men are speaking up. Here is a good speech or a little clip by Wesley Hunt that is talking about why he is in support of Trump and that he's not going to allow the Democrats to divide us. Again, trying to play the race card, trying to poke at us as Black people and make us feel bashed and ashamed to support Trump. He's not going to allow it, and all of us that is in support of Trump is not going to allow it.
The poem Invictus goes, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloodied but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horrors of the shade. But yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, nor how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. President Donald Trump is the master of his fate. He is the captain of his soul. And with you, my brave fellow Americans, we will make him our 47th president. I've had the honor and the privilege of traveling with the president today, and I'm here to tell you he wants to fight for you every single step of the way. He wants to fix our border. He wants more money in your pockets. He wants us to be safe again in our country. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter your race, religion, color, or creed. Because the only thing I see in rooms like this across the country are my fellow Americans. I'll be damned if we allow the left, Democrats, to divide us along racial lines. You see, I'm a West Point graduate. I'm a helicopter combat pilot. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something. I know a fighter when I see one. President Trump took a bullet for everybody in this room. And the unbending resolve that he displayed when he stood up and told us all to do what? Fight, fight.
have our fighter. This is our time. And the day is always darkest before the dawn. And I want to end with this. This is a country that's been through so much. This is a country that ripped itself apart in Civil War. This is a country that became back-to-back World War champions. You're welcome, world. And yet here we stand. This is a country that went through the civil rights movement, and people like me get to stand before you today as a black man in a white majority district from Texas that President Trump would have won by 30 points. This is a country that endured the Vietnam War. If you're a Vietnam veteran, if you're here right now, please stand to be recognized. Thank you.
That's what I'm talking about. Representative Wesley Hunt, a Republican, spoke at the Trump-Vance 2024 campaign event in Reno, Nevada. Now, Kamala Harris is getting so desperate as of late because she's made a spritz of different interviews that has really found her fumbling and stumbling all over the place, to the point where she went and got her medical records. She went and got her medical records, and now she's demanding that Trump shows his medical records because she's desperate. She wants to cause some type of controversy because her lackluster interviews are not hitting in the right position. Now listen to this. What I want to know, though, will she show her birth certificate, though? Because I bet you on that birth certificate does say nowhere on there black. Is going to say white or Indian. I bet you Caucasian, though. I bet you. But look at this.
So you guys, I released my medical records today. I appreciate you. So today I released my medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for president of the United States except Donald Trump in this election cycle. And it's just a further example of his lack of transparency, that on top of his unwillingness to debate again, his unwillingness to do an interview with 60 Minutes, which again is part of the norm of what anyone running for president of the United States does. And I think that it's obvious that his team, at least, does not want the American people to see everything about who he is. And you put that on top of even the most recent reports of General Milley, one of the people who worked the closest with Donald Trump, referring to him as being unstable. And it is clear to me that he and his team do not want the American people to really see what it is that he is doing and whether or not he actually is fit to do the job of being president of the United States. So,
you obviously don't have insight into what his health is, but from watching him, do you think he's fit for office?
He's been running circles around her. He's been all over the place, not taking no breaks, even after getting shot at, even after assassination attempts twice, running circles around her, and he is older than her. I think that she's scrambling and she's trying to figure out what she can do to cause some type of controversy before this election starts, and it's not going to work. It's not going to work, not even a nice try.
I will not give you a medical analysis of his fitness, but on every other level, when it comes to what we should expect in a president of the United States around having the ability to actually exercise good judgment, both as commander-in-chief and as the leader of this great country, we know that he does not have the ability to do the job. He is unfit for office. He talks at his rallies about fictional characters. He constantly is in a state of grievance about himself. He has no plans for the American people. And then he just makes things up on a full-time basis with the intention to make the people afraid, to make people fear that which they should not be afraid of. But he does it in a way that he thinks, I think, will compel
She's unfit to do the job. She is slipping in the pose, and that's called desperado mode. She's not doing good with her interviews, and so she's running to the medical records to try to like stir that pot, and it's not going to fly. Nice try, but it doesn't fly.
In the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris has embarked on a media blitz in an effort to sway undecided voters. From 60 Minutes to the Howard Stern Show, and even cracking open a cold one with popular late-night show host Stephen Colbert, the Democratic presidential nominee is embracing the spotlight as the race for the White House tightens. However, a quarter of the voters still say they don't know much about the vice president. Our next report has more.
In this election, we each face a question.
All workplaces are safer.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has been on a media blitz since October began.
We believe in a future.
However, a move that was meant to make Harris more familiar as a candidate among undecided voters has backfired, putting her presidential race in jeopardy. The biggest interview disaster was the 60-minute sit-down with host Bill Whitaker. Harris was asked some tough questions on the economy and border security, and she struggled to convince the audience. The host pointed out that the influx of illegal immigrants had quadrupled under the Biden-Harris administration when compared to Trump's time in office. To which Kamala Harris said she was promoting solutions, not problems. An answer that left even the host puzzled. And very soon, Harris was called out by American voters, with many people calling her incompetent.
Oh, no.
Kamala Harris was also left stunned and grasping for words when the host questioned if her wildcard entry as the Democratic presidential candidate was ethical. For Donald Trump supporters, the 60 Minutes interview was a wonderful sight. MAGA supporters called out Kamala Harris and her word salad. Some even called it the end of her presidential campaign. But then Harris gave MAGA supporters more ammunition by deciding to give more interviews. The Democrat drew even more flack when she appeared for an interview on The View. When asked if she would do anything differently compared to President Joe Biden, Harris said, and I quote, "There is not a thing that comes to mind." Following this, the social media platform X exploded. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance said voting for Harris meant more of the same. Speaker Mike Johnson said that Harris would be a repeat of Biden.
And I've been a decision maker long enough.
After two massive setbacks, Harris decided to play it safe on the Howard Stern Show, where she stayed away from policies and stuck to music, Formula One racing, and her favorite cereal.
My best friend set us up.
As more criticism piled on, Harris decided to lighten up her mood and indulge in the high life as she cracked open a cold beer with popular late-night show host Stephen Colbert. As Americans in the South brace for hurricane season, the Harris campaign is facing another disaster. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is taking Harris head-on after the vice president said she was trying to get on a call with DeSantis over rescue efforts after Hurricane Helene and evacuation efforts for Hurricane Milton. The Florida governor called Harris out for her fakeness.
She has no role in this. In fact, she's been vice president for 3.5 years. I've dealt with a number of storms under this administration. She has never contributed anything to any of these efforts. And so what I think is selfish is her trying to blunder into this.
Harris is not just being called out by Florida's governor. Billionaire Elon Musk is also taking pot shots at the Democrat. Speaking to popular journalist Tucker Carlson, Musk joked that nobody was trying to assassinate Kamala Harris because it was pointless. The Tesla CEO and owner of X also said that Harris would put him in jail on day one if she's elected to the White House. Everyone is aware of the popular saying that goes, There's no such thing as bad publicity. However, that hasn't applied to Kamala Harris somehow. Her bungled interviews are a clear indicator of that. The vice president.
So all they're hoping to do is keep pushing the fake Project 2025. They've been trying to fearmonger all of us into believing that that's his project, but it's not his project and it's not working. So let's get into that. I want now to play and react off of this video from Surviving the Fuckery or Puckery. I don't know how you pronounce that. It looks like effery, but surviving it, based off of talking about Project 2025. And of course, Trump has already said over and over and over and over and over again, he has nothing to do with Project 25, but people are still trying to tag him with that. They're trying to fearmonger us into believing that that's what he's on, but we're not believing it. And people are really upset that that hasn't worked because they had hoped that that was going to seal the deal, and it's not.
No More Procrastination, Zenobia Herrera, Shannon Fuller, Charlie B. Parks, Anita Del Valle, Michelle Sanchez, Aja Zola, Victoria Walker, Diane Cheesebro, Ramona Paravola, and Divine Thompson. Thank you. Your time and your donation means everything to me, and I truly appreciate each and every one. Now, in case you've been living under a rock somewhere, the demon Christ has been going around these social media streets trying to connect our boy Donald Trump to the heritage group Project 2025, which they describe as evil beyond measure. So imagine our surprise when we found out that Mickey Edwards, a founding member of the heritage group, had endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Now that being said, enjoy.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever.
Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my God. Stop fucking lying.
I think I just uncovered the Democrats' October surprise in July for this election cycle. You've got to see what I found. This time they're using Project 2025 as the hit piece. What's funny is the last time they tried to do this, it took years to unravel who was responsible for it in 2016. Now no one can be out. I hope you can help me spread this. This is important. They're lying and gaslighting the American people because they know they're going to lose the election. Do you remember back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton pushed out the Steele dossier, the Trump-Russian collusion hoax? Do you remember who was behind that? An organization called Perkins Coie. It was led by a guy by the name of Mark Elias. Mark Elias is one of the most scandalous, disgusting, rotten Democrat operatives, an election interference specialist, really. He drove that hoax. You won't believe what I just found Mark Elias doing with Project 2025. So it didn't make sense to me why all of a sudden Project 2025 was running all over the internet and propaganda artists were creating an enormous amount of propaganda around it. And what was more important is I've actually read most of the documents. So almost everything that I was hearing about Project 2025 from the left didn't make sense because it wasn't in the document. So I found the answer. This is an almost 50-page document put together by an organization called Democracy Forward. And if you're interested in who they are, you should go take a look because it's littered with some of the most far-left radical propagandists that I've ever come across. And if you go through this document, you're going to notice that every one of the politically charged talking points that you've been hearing on this platform and others come from here. The idea that Project 2025 is going to ban contraception comes from here. The idea that Project 2025 is going to destroy the environment comes from here. The idea that Project 2025 is going to allow slavery to be re-implemented comes from here. The problem? None of that is actually in Project 2025. And here's a perfect example. This one section where it talks about how Project 2025 is going to eliminate a concept called disparate treatment theory, which is used to fight against discrimination, and they twist it to suggest that it's going to be used to allow us to go back to a period pre-1965. The problem, even the citation on this article is wrong. If you go to page 72, chapter 3, it doesn't talk at all about the disparate impact theory. In fact, it talks about merit. So they're lying. And every one of the talking points, it's here. So I decided to check who's responsible for this. And what do I find at the very top? Chair, Democracy Forward, Mark Elias. You know, the same Mark Elias is responsible for bankrolling the Steele dossier. The same Mark Elias that the DNC had to fire for lying to a court and to a special counsel. And the same Mark Elias that the Fifth Circuit Court had to sanction for filing false motions. And yes, the same Mark Elias who was responsible for the drop boxes and the violating of state election law all around the country in 2020, that same guy who created the Russian hoax in 2016, an election interference specialist that the Democrat Party turns to when they need to interfere in elections, is responsible for that. And that, my friends, is what is being used to destroy the Donald Trump campaign, just like they did in 2016. They take a lie, they put it into the media, it's called a wrap-up smear.
You demonize, and then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made.
That's how it's done. And that's what they're doing right now.
The truth about Project 2025. I will show you a post from Donald Trump himself from his platform. We know mainstream media won't push this. I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who is behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck. But I have nothing to do with them. Project 2025 spokesperson. As we've been saying for more than 2 years now, Project 2025 does not speak for any candidate or campaign. We are a coalition of more than 110 conservative groups advocating policy and personnel recommendations for the next conservative president. Now I will show you what narrative mainstream media is pushing heavy after the Trump and Biden debate.
The architect of the 2025, yes, because everyone has been talking about it. And
The mission statement for Project 2025 is a plan.
the Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
I'm sure you noticed the narrative shift. Project 2025 is being used as a political weapon by mainstream media actors and leftist content creators. What is a PSYOP? PSYOP is an acronym for Psychological Operations, which is a U.S. military term that refers to campaigns that aim to influence an adversary's state of mind. PSYOPs are usually non-combative and can involve conveying information to audiences to influence their behavior, motives, and reasoning. The goal is to ultimately influence the behavior of governments, organizations, groups, and large foreign powers.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous.
So obviously Trump is not a part of the establishment. This is why everybody is against Trump. He can't be bought. He's not sold out. But the leftists, the Democrats, are sold out. They are trying to dismantle America and everything that we represent, and they're lying on him about Project 2025. I understand that there's a whole lot of reading that you can do for Heritage Foundation that does talk about Project 2025, but it has nothing to do with Trump, and that is just the facts. And I hope that people would stop trying to peddle that and trying to scare and incite fear which is not working for most of us, but I just thought I would play a little snippet of that. Now I want to take a little mini break. I want to take my dog out. So I want to play a song for Pinky Wells, who wanted to hear a song from the UK. Let me see, what was the name of that song? I had it. Hold on, where'd you go? Oh, somehow it's kind of like I misplaced it. If you guys could, while I look for it, please hit the like. I'm so glad that many of us are not falling for that Project 2025 nonetheless. Oh, here it is. By Princess, Say I'm Your Number One. I'm going to play that song to give my dog a chance to take a little mini break. And I hope that you guys would enjoy the song as well. And while I'm gone, please hit the like and also comment in the comment section, because when I come back, I'm going to come back to the chat room and read off some of your comments. I can't read all the comments, especially if they're stupid comments. But if you have a well thought out comment, I will read it and converse with you. I appreciate everybody that has already hit the like and is commenting in the comment section, but I need to take a little mini break. Please enjoy this song. All right, all right. I don't remember that song at all, but thank you for that song, Pinky. That reminds me of the singer that I heard yesterday. What was her name, Therese? Man, her name just slipped me. But I just played a song of hers yesterday. Marie. You know who I'm talking about. Please remind me who I'm thinking about. My mind just went blank. But I appreciate the selection that you gave yesterday. I saved it in my phone and I said, oh, I'm going to play that for halftime when I come and take my dog out, because it was just enough of minutes to take her out. And I really appreciate that break. So let me go to the chat room. I don't think a lot of people really said a whole lot. But for the ones that did comment, I'm going to read a few of your comments. And then afterwards, we're going to go to Donald Trump. He went to California to rally there. And we're going to listen to a little bit of his rally that he gave. You said, stop using that as a form of birth control. Pathetic, grow up. I'm not using anything as birth control, so I don't know what you're talking about. Joe says, peace out, folks. Vote for who you think will make your life better, but try not to hate on your fellow American. God bless America and God bless y'all. Well, it's hard to hate on stupid, though, Joe. It's between voting for yourself or voting for your replacement or voting for America to be dismantled. If you vote for the Democrats, you're voting for the dismantling of America. So I can't, in all goodness, appreciate all Americans that would want to dismantle America. So I hope that people would realize the gravity of this election and would vote for Trump. Christopher says, preach. And also says all lies. I don't know what that means. You just said preach and then you said all lies. Okay. Charles Harvey says, please share and like the platform. God bless you all. Have a wonderful and great day. Exactly. God bless everybody. And this is not bullshit, native Texan. I don't know why you say that. Are you a Kamala person that wants to vote for her? I hope not. And how many people died due to being forced to give birth? Oh, you guys are having a discussion about abortions, ironically. We weren't talking about abortions, but no one is wanting a woman to lose her life if she's going to have medical issues. Trump already said he is for the 3 emergencies for abortion, which would be if a mom is going to lose her life if she has a child because of medical circumstances, that he would be okay with that form of abortion, or the taking of sex from the woman, and or incest. So Trump has already stated that in the debate. So I hope that you guys would remember that, because that's what he said. TSM says, but ironically, you will buy Trump's watch, hat, etc. No, I'm not going to buy any of that. It's too expensive. I can't afford to purchase any of Trump's things. But I'm sure other people that have the money might. American Cigar Indian says, yes, the Project 2025 is being used to scare voters, just like the lie that was spread that the Republicans were going to take away Black Americans' right to vote. Exactly. Like, everybody's trying to use Black Americans as a scapegoat to fearmonger. And I'm so tired of that. Can you guys pick somebody else to use besides Black Americans all the time? Are there any other group of people that you can think on besides Black Americans? My God. You said it's the facts because Trump said he wasn't a part of it. Again, he does not have to be a part of it. He was already our president. He can be president just like he was before, but better, and fix the problems that are going on. Just because someone says he's a part of it, does that make him a part of it, big man? Use your own logic. So because they say he is, that forces him to have to be a part of it? Come on. 2025 going to be another year. How about that? Exactly, Christopher. It's another new year. Trust in social media. How about picking up a legit book? Okay. Most these fools don't know what books are, Russ says. Oh, you said this whole live stream has been reported for misinformation. Whatever. Donna says the same guy who wrote Protect 2025 is the same one who wrote Russia, Russia, Russia. Okay. Trump is mentioned over 300 times in the project. Well, they put his name there. Does that mean he has to be a part of it? Big Man says, what books? Only books that allowed in some schools right now is Trump Bible. Canada for Trump, exactly. Trump 2024, exactly. Well, you can have him. Okay, we'll take Trump. Southern California for Trump 2024, facts. Gotta love your dogs. I have to take care of her. She's still under the weather. Luke says no one is upset. Americans aren't voting for Trump. It's ridiculous to vote for such a radical person such as Kamala. Exactly. She's too left extreme. And we don't know enough about her. She conceals all her true intentions and she's a flip-flopper. You can't trust somebody like that. And most important, she's not American first. She's for the migrants and the illegals. And I am not down for someone that's going to be down for replacing us. Trying to revamp or remake or reset America. Y'all need to be scared of Kamala. That's what I'm talking about. I'm scared of her. Crack Society says Trump for all American. Exactly. Trump 2024. That's right, heavy metal. Luke says also stop dividing people. No one care if you're black or white or Indian or Korean. If you're a legal citizen, you are American. I'm not trying to divide anyone, but this channel is for Black Americans first, Luke. That's why I started the channel, was to reach out to Black Americans because we don't have real leadership in our community at the moment. And so this channel was for information for them to understand what is up against us. And now it's transitioning to talk about politics. I'm not a political person. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. But I think that this election is so important that I need to now talk about politics. And that's why you're hearing me talk for the first time, which I'm not doing very well, but a little bit okay. I'm talking about politics because it's that important. But this channel is foremost for Black Americans, so that you know. I am a Black American first. Donna says Trump Vance 2024 for world peace and affordable food and gas and affordable housing, and to bring our jobs back and to stop the invasion of our country and to protect our 2A. I don't know what 2A means, but yeah, to protect America overall. None of your business says it's funny how Trump leaves interviews when he's directly fact-checked, but why isn't Kamala fact-checked ever? Why don't anybody ever challenge her? Why is everybody giving her soft questions that she still fumbles on? Show people a little love and see how they treat us. Where's my post? Gary says, I don't know. There are massive numbers of jobs added. Where? We are all together, you say? Watch out for yourselves, Benny says. Exactly. Watch out for yourselves. Glory to be God. Glory be to God. Glory be to God. Grand rise, everybody. Exactly, Charles. Thank you for that. God is great. God don't like gays, though. You don't know that, Russ. You can't speak for God. You don't know what God thinks because he's God. We can't contain God in a book, unlike what pastors would like you to believe. God created gay people. So you think he created gay people not to like them? He might not like some of the acts that they do, but he created all of us. Charles says, I never watch out for myself because God is my second shadow. It's always on the side of my shadow, and it's always bigger than my shadow. I heard that. Praise Yah, Russ says. Trump 2024 MAGA vote. Fakez says, I guess that's how you pronounce it. And again, Donna says, Trump Vance 2024 for world peace, affordable food and gas, and affordable housing, and to bring our jobs back, and to stop the invasion of our country, and to protect America. Exactly. Pinky says, not saying that yet, but we're all looking at Kamala can't answer questions. She can't answer nothing. If you love America, vote Trump. Exactly. Also vote Republican across the ticket. I think I am. Yeah, Tina Marie. I couldn't think of Tina. Lord, my mind. Yeah, she sounded a little bit like Tina Marie, that princess lady. Californians for Trump. Exactly. John says, you know it's bad when Trump's wife bashes him in a book and says that she's against everything, that he stands for a great family life. Trump. Hey, I don't know the intricacies. That's what's going on in their personal life. All I know is that he is up for the task to lead us from the brink of destruction, which the Democrats are bringing us to destruction. And if he can bring us back off from falling off the cliff, I'm going to choose Trump, which I'm going to choose Trump. John, True Patriot says, John, give me one reason why you would vote for Harris. Exactly. What reason would that be? Everything that she's done in the last 3.5 years is not anything that we are or should be proud of. Yeah, anyone voting for Harris, give us a good reason why, other than identity politics and that she's a woman. Please give us more than that, because that's not working out. Yes, America needs God back in schools, Stephen. I agree. John says she's going to provide housing assistance, new family assistance, make drug prices more affordable, as well as many other things, so she claims. I don't believe anything that comes from her mouth, though, John. I'm sorry. She's a flip-flopper. You can't trust that. Not voting for someone that can explain their policies and dances around questions. Exactly. That's what she does. And why hasn't she done anything yet? Patrick said that. Why hasn't she then? True Patrick says, John, those are empty words. She has no plan to make that stuff happen. Tell me one thing that Kamala has accomplished. I'll wait forever. John, why has she only raised all the... that? I'm not sure what you mean by that. John, all the assistance you speak of, where does the money come from that? Higher taxes. That's what she's going to do. Kelly says, True Patriot, and if she did have a plan, why hasn't she used it yet? Exactly. What's she waiting for? What's my dog's name? Boo-boos. Boo-boos. Patrick says, 20 years, Democrats have been in power and done nothing to help Black Americans, but now she will come on. I know she ain't gonna do nothing for us. She gonna bless all the illegals, though. She's going to bless the DACA dreamers. She's going to bless all the migrants. She's going to squeeze Americans out and give us higher taxes and put a bond of slavery on us with taxation all over the place. I don't want to see that America that she's bringing in already right now. I don't want to see that America. True Patrick says, John, I'll tell you why Trump, better economy, lower costs, no new wars, energy independence. Facts. What will Republicans do for them? Well, they're going to deal with the border first and foremost. That's the first thing. He's going to get all those illegals that are criminals off the street. That's another thing. He's going to lower taxes. He's going to cause the tipping to not be taxed. And those are the first ones that I really want to vote off of, is the border and the criminals and the illegals. I want them gone. I'm sorry. That's why I'm voting for Trump. That's the only reason I need to vote for Trump. Kelly says, John, what book is that? Because from what I've seen, she loves Trump and supports him. So why would she say all of that, then disrespect him in a book? Are you talking about Melanie? Is that how you pronounce her name? Charles says, I figure if they want to dismantle and they are our skin color, why don't they just go to Africa where it's already dismantled? Exactly. They won't do that, though. They want America to be dismantled and look like other third world countries. True Patriot says, I agree. She has been in a position for over 3.5 years and has voted to hurt this country every chance. Exactly. Scamala, Danielle. Facts. Kelly says, if I mentioned you and say my beliefs in that same sentence, does that mean you support my beliefs? LOL. Trump has already said many times that he has nothing to do with that 2025 thing. And I believe him. He's strong by himself. He doesn't need the assistance of other people to rattle and get in his head and try to tell him what and how to be. He is his own man. He doesn't need to be influenced by any other agenda. He is okay by himself. He's strong enough by himself. I don't buy that Trump is going to be taking orders from other people. That's why I am rocking with Trump. Period. Steven says, anyone can write about someone. That doesn't mean that person has anything to do about it. Exactly. Just putting him in there does not mean that that's going to be about Trump. Trump is his own man. Scribbly Bingus says, Trump ran as a Democrat in the early 2000s. Bro, flip-flops too. Well, he came to his senses and he understood the direction of what the Democrats were doing and how they were moving, and he changed his mind. That's the difference. He changed his mind because he's seen the Democrats were becoming more and more demonic. About to find out if we are going to get cheaper groceries or World War III. Yeah, you about right about that. If Candace Owens was running, she would have my vote, True Patriot says. I don't know about that. Second Amendment, Big Man says. That's right, Second Amendment. 2A is Second Amendment. 2A, I got to remember that. Kelly says, people do change their minds. Harris, however, is for whatever the people in front of her are. Exactly. Excuse me. She's a chameleon. This year is going into the history books for so much that has happened in one single year. Picky says that's what a lot of people don't understand. Some just want to face that looks like them in the White House. She don't look like us though, Pinky. She don't look like me. Nothing like me. I don't know where this semblance of her looking like us comes from. She looks like an Indian and white woman. That's what she is. Let her show her birth certificate. I bet you it says Caucasian. I know it doesn't say black or Negro. I bet you it don't say Negro or black. So she wants to try to pressure Trump into showing his medical records. I wish he would turn around and say, show your birth certificate. Man, that would be lit if he says that. God loves everyone. Exactly, Kelly. He made everything. So he has to love what he created. Jack says, there are no gods, period. Stop believing in children fairy tales. No, Jack, you can't make nothing that you are. Without a God, you would not exist. You cannot replicate your eye sockets. If a tree landed on you and poked your eyes out, you could not replicate what you have right now. God, there has to be a God. You could not regenerate your limbs. If that tree stump or tree landed on you, there has to be a God. Yeah, blacks for Trump, Nancy. That's right. A lot more than what they're trying to say. Jack Travis says, or no, True Patriot says, Jack Travis, for your sake, I hope you're right. If you're wrong, it's hell for eternity. Oh, wow. God loves everyone except gays and gays and gays, gentleman says. Again, you don't know what God loves. You cannot know the mind and heart of God. Who wrote the Bible? Man. God didn't write that Bible. Man wrote that Bible. Anyways, I've read enough. I want to get now to the rally of Trump in California. Now, a lot of people thought that maybe he was kind of crazy to go to California because they think that California is already a Democratic place and that it's not going to change. But I'm impressed with the fact that he's willing to try. So let me find that video real quick. If you have not yet, please like the video. I know that it's hard to find the like button, but all you have to do is hit the 3 buttons to the right and then hit the thumbs up, and then you can like the video. And I really appreciate if you would. So he went to this rally there in Coachella, there in California. I never heard of Coachella, but here he is about to start his stumping speech. Let's listen in to what he had to say recently.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is a rather nice crowd. You can't see the end of it. Hello back there. Boy, you are so cool. I don't know if they can see anything. I want to give a special hello to Coachella. We have had a great reception here. Look at this crowd. This is like record stuff. As far as the eye can see, that means we're going to do very well. This is like a poll. And a very also special hello to the state of California. We're going to make it better. I stand before you today in the heart of the majestic Coachella Valley to declare that the Republican Party will always put America first and lead us on to victories like you have never seen before. We're going to have big victory. Because we become the party of common sense. You know, we call it common sense. We're conservative, Who the hell knows? We might even be a little bit liberal, but you know what? We have common sense. We have common sense. That's what it's all about. No, we're nice and conservative, but we do it the proper way, and we're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen. Look at these rallies nobody's ever seen. Nobody's ever seen. And we're fighting for hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed, right? And that sun is hot. I'll tell you. Should I or should I not put on the hat, the famous hat? Okay, who wants me to put it on? Who loves my hair and said you shouldn't put it on? All right, I'm putting this sucker. That sun is hot. Tell me if it's nice. Okay, Mr. Wall. I love Mr. Wall. Front row Joes over here. Here they come. And we have the great women from North Carolina over here. Look at them. That's number 219 or something for them. They're wealthy and beautiful, and they have wonderful husbands, I think. I don't know. What are they doing? What are the husbands doing? The radical left Democrats have destroyed this state, but we are going to save it, and we're going to make it better than ever before. Yet I've come here today not only to talk about California, where you have one of the worst governors in the country, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom! But you definitely had somebody here that was horrible. Kamala. And now she wants to destroy our country. We're not going to let her destroy our country like she did San Francisco, right? But how will we save America from suffering the same fate? Because if she's here, you know how we'll do it? By voting for Trump. It's very easy. Kamala Harris and the radical Democrats have destroyed this state. California is really, it's a paradise lost, but we're going to bring it back. Don't worry about it. We're bringing it back. It'll happen fast. We'll stop the murderers from coming in, the drug dealers, everybody coming into California, coming into our country. Through generations of American history, California stood as the beacon of what our country aspired to become. It really did. It had everything. It had the weather, it had the water. The state had the best schools, the safest communities, and a booming middle class. But all that was eradicated by decades of the very policies that Kamala Harris wants to now force upon America. I don't think it's going to happen. And by the way, we're leading in all the polls, but we have to win. Too big to ring. We're leading in the polls, but we have to do it too big to ring. Because they are good at one thing. You know what that one thing is? Cheating. That's true. They're professional thieves. Today, California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest cost of living, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, the most homelessness, the most crime, the most decay, and the most illegal aliens. Other than that, I think you're doing quite well, actually. Turn it up. We're not going to let Kamala Harris do to America what she did to California. We're not going to let it happen. So whether you are Democrat, Republican, or Independent, this election is your chance to send a message. Back home to mommy. She goes back home to mommy. Was that you, darling? And she gets that. Held back out of her. Her mother's a big fan of ours. You know that, right? Her father, her mother. Now, you always have that. Now, tomorrow, here's the only problem. So we have like 100,000. We have a lot of people. You know, in Butler last week, we had 101,000. Can you imagine? Celebrating
the life of a great person, a great fireman, actually, Corey. We had 101,000. So whether you're a Democrat or Republican or independent, this election is your chance to send a message to the world that the people of California are not going to take it any longer. We're not going to take it. Kamala Harris got you into this mess, and only Trump is going to get you out of it. We're going to get you out of it. But by far, one of the biggest factors in destroying California has been mass illegal immigration and a governor that plays right into their hands. What a shame. What a shame. She got it started. Kamala got it started. Now she's saying, no, I'd like to see the wall get built. Oh, she'd like to see. Where was she 4 years ago? This just is new. You know, her poll numbers are tanking. So all of a sudden she's in love with the wall, which does work. Two things work. You know what they are? Wheels and walls. Everything else, you can have a brand new, beautiful computer for that beautiful young boy of yours, and in about 2 weeks it's obsolete. But wheels and walls never get obsolete. And we built one hell of a wall. We were going to add 200 miles more, and then bad things happened last time. You know, we got more votes the second time by millions than we got the first. Anyway, they took over, and that's when I realized they want to have an open border because they didn't want to put a little bit of extra that I bought, far beyond what I said I was going to build. And they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. Can you believe it? These people, that's so bad. And now they're realizing it works, and now they want to build some, but it's a little late for them because they're not going to be there very much longer, I know. You know, Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. She's the worst vice president in the history of our country. There's never been a thing, and we're not going to let her. You know, I beat Biden, so we have a debate. He went down, he was down. In all fairness to him, he got 14 million votes. She got none, right? So he goes down. They said, we want you out of here. I won't do it. We want you out of here, Joe. You know, it was a coup. There was a coup. They actually threw him out of office. And I'm convinced that he likes me a little bit more, this much more, than he likes her. I'm convinced. I'm pretty well convinced. Across the state, which Kamala, or as you would say, Kamala, helped make a sanctuary state. Does anybody really want? You know what a sanctuary state is? That's a place where you keep criminals, right? Who the hell wants that? The mass migration invasion has crushed wages, crashed school systems, your systems are a disaster, wrecked the standard of living, and brought crime, drugs, misery, and death. Now, over the past 4 years, Border Czar Harris has delivered the same nightmare invasion to every state in America as your vice president. I can't even believe it. How do you like the vice president she picked? How about that guy? How about that guy? I don't know. What the hell is wrong with our country? Right? Look, you know, we used to have the greatest Abraham Lincoln, George. Now look at this stuff. Can you believe what we're doing? She's so bad. She's so bad. It can't happen. Although the way things go in this country nowadays, I guess it probably could. That's why we want to build up a lead. We got to build up that lead because such bad things. And we've got to do it. And I don't want to keep saying it. Too big to read. I don't want to say it. She's imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons of the third world. They come from the dungeons of the third world. Many are prisoners. Some had death sentences. They were going to be executed for murder. But they're now living happily in California and other places in our country. Congratulations.
And I think that that's a good idea. The death penalty for migrants that decide to murder Americans that come over here illegally. And if you murder, he's going to issue a death warrant or death penalty onto that particular migrant, and that's a good idea that he's going to do that. Let's go.
You see them, I think you should be kind and take them in, give them a meal, let them stay with your children, and they'll take care of your children. From prisons and jails they came, from insane asylums and mental institutions from all over the world. From Venezuela to the Congo. They came, a lot come from the Congo. I don't know what's happening in the Congo. We can almost tell the worst areas because if there's a run on the Congo, we know Congo's not doing well. But they come from all over the world. She's resettled them into your communities. Congratulations. They can now prey on innocent Americans for a while. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will become like the migrant camp of LA and San Francisco. What the hell is happening to our cities? Look, it's Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, stand up. Whoa. Honest Abe. Thank you, Honest Abe. We have them all. I have no idea who he is, but he looks pretty damn good, I'll tell you. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. You know, I had a big debate with a lot of very smart people, political people, and they're all saying the economy is the most important thing. And when you add inflation, I don't know, maybe it is inflation, I put it as part of the economy, but they say the economy and then inflation. And they had the border down as the third. And I disagree. I think, frankly, I don't even want to speak against myself. I think the border is number 1. Because, you know, we can fix things, we can do, but what they've done to our country at the border is unbelievable by allowing 21 million people into our country. It's not sustainable. 645,000 are criminals. And some are 214,000 are what they call high grade A criminals. We have them. Think of that. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Isn't it nice? They formed their little friendship in prison, one of the meanest prisons you've ever seen. The Tren de Aragua. Have you heard of it? This is Tren de Aragua gang. Nice individuals, very nice. They're in Aurora, Colorado, where you have a very weak and pathetic governor who's petrified of them. He's afraid of the criminals. He's the governor. You can't be afraid. But they're in Colorado and communities all over nationwide. This gang is terrorizing law-abiding citizens, including taking over the multiple apartment complexes. But in Aurora, they're like me. They're in the real estate business. They want to go in. The only difference, they use financing, they use guns. Take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis. Record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full invasion. Program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented cross borders criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Yeah, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex. New details in the murder of Lincoln Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
That was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder in the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
So, crime rates all over the world are down. You know why? Every country, every single. Last week, the great Tom Homan, Tom Homan? He told me last week 168 different countries were represented that violated the border list. Countries that you never even heard of. Some countries you've never even heard of them. And some of the most vicious criminals. And Kamala said a few weeks ago that the people that we take in are much nicer than our criminals. No, they make our criminals like the nicest people you've ever met. The only good thing is they do. Our criminals are considered extremely nice by comparison to the people that we see. They'll cut your throat, and the next morning they won't even remember. This is what they do. These are really bad. These are really evil people. And they also have terrorists coming in, and they have the drug lords coming in, and they say, if you ever come back, we're going to kill you. So we're stuck with them, but we're not stuck with them. They're going back. They're going back. Very soon. They're going back, and they're going back fast. And if the countries don't want to take them back, I just say very simply, that's okay. We're going to tariff every damn product you sell into the U.S. And they're going to say, like they always have to be, sir, we would love to take MS-13 gang members back. We think they're wonderful people. We had that problem when it first came in. You had Honduras. You had, I'd say, 3 or 4 different countries, a little bit Mexico. But you had these countries, and they wouldn't take the people back. And I said to one of the generals, I want to get MS-13 the hell out of our country. I really don't want to put them in our jail, but I don't want to come back because it's too expensive. So we put them in, and I said, General, I want them back. Sir, they won't take them back. What are you talking about? They won't take them back, sir. How much money do we pay that little group of countries? Sir, we give them exactly $750 million a year for economic development. You know whose development is? For the president of the country. That's whose development for his house. So let me ask you, so we give them that. Tell them they're in violation of our agreement. Tell them we are sending them back. And if you don't take them, in fact, don't even say that. Just say we're not sending them any more money. They called up. Following morning, all 3, there were 3 countries in this case, all 3 separate. They called up, said the same thing. Sir, there seems to be a misunderstanding. I said, no. Obama couldn't get him back. Nobody could get him back. Bush couldn't get him back. Nobody could get him back. I got him back. It took me about 1 phone call.
That's what we need, is someone decisive. Someone that is bold, someone that knows what they're doing. Kamala is not that one at all. I don't know why people are trying to act like she can deal with world powers such as Putin of Russia and other people. Trump's already been in office. He knows what to do. He knows the people that's at play. We need Trump. And I'm sorry that a lot of people don't like his personality. He's brass. Sometimes says some things that he thinks that he probably shouldn't say out loud. But irregardless of the personality issue, it's policies over personality for me. That's being logical, not being emotional. There ain't nobody out here that's perfect, including Trump. But he has the right heart to lead us in a better fashion. And he has the right priority. In my mind, the border issue is number 1 too, because everything else is wrapped around that border with the cost of taking care of the migrants and the cost of the crimes and the deaths and all these other things that happen related to these migrants being up over here. We cannot sustain America the way things are going. Kamala will keep things as is and add to the roster of other people, her people, the Indian people coming up over here, and more people coming through the border. They want to keep the numbers coming and flooding in so that they can have power till the end of time in their mind. They want to cut the Republicans down at the knees and never have them return. They want to cheat. They want to be deceitful and be evil. I don't want them around us anymore. They got to go. Hopper says, as a veteran and a Samaritan spending decades in non-protected tourist areas, Trump is the only ticket for peace and freedom. I'm done living a life of survival in the black man's motherland. I heard that, Hopper. The black man's motherland. So are you in Africa, or you used to be in Africa? I'm taking it. Drake says he might need another scalp reduction surgery. Oh, Lord. I don't care how he looks, Drake. I don't care how he sounds. I just care about how his heart and his policies are going to be. That's it. That's all. No, Joe. Trump for prison. No, no, no. Trump 2024 for presidency. Trump talks about his policies and Kamala does not. Fort Worth baseman says she has flipped on so many things due to convenience. Exactly. Trump has never flipped on anything. That's what we need, is somebody with a steady hand that knows what's going on and will deal with the right type of topics at hand. Drake says, ask the Chinese how well that wall worked out. He didn't finish it. Maybe when he gets back, he will. Okay, Pinky says, wine and Drake current wine and blames the white man. That's the playbook a lot of black men use. Time to put on those man pants. Okay, Trump, you said lies. Okay, that's your opinion. You said, bro, I'm white, but keep being racist. Who are you talking to? It's sad that so few politicians will call out the insanity of this current administration. American Cigar Indian says, I know. What are they thinking about? I mean, we're like in the Twilight Zone. You remember all those Twilight Zone storylines that are unbelievable? This is like we're a part of that right now in real time. It's really, what's good is bad now. What is up is down. What is down is up. What is honest is a lie. Everything has been flipped by the Democrats. All they know how to do is make everything bad, worse. They don't have no intention of making things better. They want America to be no more, man. Can't y'all see what is going on? Yes, Kamala is a joke. All she do is laugh all day. All she does is cackle, Keith. Yes, tell us one thing he's flipped on. This black woman is voting for Trump. I'm glad to hear that. And there are a lot more than what they want to let it be known. They want us to believe that black women are still in the Democratic camp, but many of us are not. And I appreciate you telling me that you're a woman because, you know, I'm a woman too. And I do not believe that Kamala is right for the Oval Office. If you all hate Trump, go watch Camel Toe, Tim says. Facts. Pinky says, Drake current, you'll be the first to blame an immigrant for taking your job. Exactly. Keith says this black man is voting for Trump. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, having a sanctuary city for non-citizens to continuously commit crimes without getting deported is insane. That's what I'm talking about. It's out of control. Like nobody is considering our protection and our security and our sanity but Trump. Can anyone reopen Alcatraz? That's what Monique wants to know. To all in here, whether you like Trump or not, I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless all of you, this country, and President Trump. That's what I'm saying. 20 million to Florida, 100 billion to Ukraine, 300 billion for Israel, 100 billion for immigrant crisis, Forrest Run says, and high prices for everyone in America. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, facts, all facts. Pinky says Kamala doesn't lie to you because you want to believe what she says. Exactly. Anyone that believes her needs to really reevaluate what have they been listening to, because she has flip-flopped on so many different things is unbelievable. And she's been running away from these interviews until lately. Suddenly, since it's the last hour, she wants to show up for all these different interviews. But where was she a month or two ago? Hiding, running from the media, not wanting to have a conference, news conference. She hasn't had a news conference at all. Unlike Trump. Trump has been everywhere, answering all kinds of questions, available for all kinds of questions. And now she wants to try to show up, but she's been well guarded. And people has been trying to protect her and treat her like she's a kid. Why the hell is he the only candidate? What you're looking at, I don't know. He's the only one that matters. And Tim says 750 for hurricane victims, disgusting. Exactly. If there are Americans that think that these insane sanctuary city policies won't affect your city, think again. Your city could become flooded with this as well. It's just a matter of time. American Cigar, that's facts. It's just a matter of time. Why was Camel Toe your only candidate? Paul Nee says, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. But no, we don't want Harris for president at all. Not a chance, the epic adventures, unless they cheat again. Exactly. And that's one thing that I am fearful of, them cheating again. I believe that they stole the last election. And I believe with these migrants and them trying to register them to vote is going to really, really cut a lot of our numbers down. That's why I hope people will not sit out and talk about being on the couch, because if you do, you're going to seal your fate. And whatever happens to you behind you not voting, you have earned what you got. You got to get out and vote this election. It is important to you, not just to me, but overall to you. Eventually, it will indirectly affect you one way or the other. You said Harris for VP hasn't been a good thing for Americans. Why should she become president? Exactly. Doesn't make sense at all. President Trump equals no wars, low gas prices, closed borders, MAGA. Exactly, Paul Nee. I grew up in low-income housing in the 70s. None. Yeah, business says. Black, Asian, white, brown. None of it mattered. We were all the same poor. We made the best of it. We had beef. We met up in the field through hands. Through hands? Why are you throwing hands? Oh, you talking about you fighting? Okay. Doesn't matter what color you are. We're all tired of empty cupboards. Exactly. Racking up credit card debt for groceries, paying triple for gas. Exactly, Diggy. The special privileged characters, aka TPS citizens, are getting so accustomed to being arrested and then released in the sanctuary cities, they are spreading out to other cities, acting out. Exactly. They're acting as if they're untouchables. It's a crying shame not Americans can get away with that type of activity, but they're untouchable. They're like given greater rights than we got. That doesn't make no sense. Trump says things people say when they're at home, Pinky says. I think a lot of things he says he thinks on. A lot of things that we have a quick thought, we kind of hold back on saying it. And I think sometimes he says exactly what comes to mind. And I can respect it better because I can kind of gauge where his mindset is at. You can't gauge what Kamala's mindset is at because she is a chameleon. She conforms to the audience of whoever she's in front of. She tries to mimic that particular crowd of people, but she's not being authentic. And I think that she's going to shock a lot of people with what types of policies and bills and whatever she comes to mind with. It's just going to be all over the place. And that border is not going to be dealt with at all. I just don't want her near the Oval Office. You said he only thinks about himself and money for him and his rich friends. Okay, that's your opinion, Elaine. Okay, whatever, what you're looking at. I'm not even going to read your comment. Bye. Trump's policies never hurt us Americans. Exactly. The Democrats would love to see us in change again as slaves. Exactly, Charles. This black woman is voting for Trump a third time. I heard that. What's up, Fred? How are you doing? Forrest Savage, how are you? You said maybe not these ones. They're just fed untrue information that makes them think wacky. Okay. American Cigar Indian says, yes, the sanctuary cities are being drained dry of its resources at the expense of its citizens. Exactly. Nobody wants to talk about that, though. Everything is at the expense of the American people. We're becoming debt slaves to migrants. Nobody wants to talk about that. I don't want to become debt slaves to a damn migrant. They need to go back wherever they came from. It's simple and plain as that. Well, hopefully your city or town won't get overrun by the illegals, TPS, etc. that Kamala has allowed in, American Cigar says. I know. Black man voting for Trump, Cool Dude says. I heard that. You said the Lord is not a Trump puppet? Okay. Another one, Clarence says, I'm a black man voting for Trump. See? A lot of us are voting for Trump. They don't want it to be understood that there is a lot more support in the black community than realize. I see some of you who are not for Trump. That's cool. But what in his policies you don't agree with? Don't just spew words. Tell us the policies. Fort Worth Baseman says. Trump is a civil servant, not a man with a holy mandate. We like his policies, and half of the people in here are agnostic or atheists. Some of them are. Some of them are spiritual like me. I am for Trump and what he can do to this oversized administrative state. Yes, Roger. All we hear from the left is why not to vote for Trump. Tell us why we should vote for Kamala. You can't. Exactly. They just want to make Trump the boogeyman and try to make this a contest for likability. And this should not be a test over a likability. It should be a test over competence and policy. And that's what I'm doing. Trump is equivalent to a regular person running for president. He is going to do what we expect a president to do. Kamala is equivalent of a politician running for president. Exactly. Who lies? A lot. Trump's trade war left us in the largest deficit, so you say? He increased the drone war over 400%, and he lost over 200,000 manufacturing jobs. I don't know that to be true, Drake, but thank you for your information. Are you talking about COVID? Because COVID could have did that to anybody. COVID is the reason for a lot of things happening in those years that we were shut down for 2 years, I believe. Yeah, politicians have their own agendas. I hope they do not sit this one out. The crazies at the rallies don't need to vote. I hope everybody comes out to vote, as many as possible, for Trump. The epic adventures, the illegals have a home they fled from it now. Trump will give them a free ride home and they can clean and build it up. Bye. Vice president doesn't make policies. Okay, but they can break ties, and according to Biden, she had just as much power as he had to do things, and she chose not to do anything. That's what he said out of his own mouth. Trump is my wrecking ball on this government, Roger says. Okay, proofs in the pudding. We're all human beings and we all got to eat. Yeah, we got to take care of ourselves. And right now, speaking of which, a lot of people are hurting out here. A lot of people are out here letting it be known, young and old, that they can't afford to simply take care of themselves the right way. Let me find that video. And this is about how can we change that. And I don't think that Kamala has a heart. You know, she's doing okay, just like her buddies are doing okay. She's not looking out for the common people. I think Trump is. Trump is looking out for the common people. We got to remember that. And like I said, the cost of living is ridiculous, as you know. And people are speaking out about the cost of living. Let's listen to this real quick, and then I'm going to conclude this video.
For bankruptcy, because the way everything's expensive, I just went to a supermarket to go buy some eggs. Eggs is $7 now. Since when was eggs $7? And then to buy milk is like what, $8 now? Shit is expensive out here. Bro, in 2024, I know everybody's gonna be fighting for bankruptcy, food stamps, and all of that because it's just too much. Everything's too expensive nowadays. It's crazy. Like, you look to the left, something costs more. You look to the right, something has increased. Like, it's wow. Even like rent prices, like rent is not even $700 anymore, $600 anymore. Nah, it's $2,000, $3,000. I'm from New York, so if your price is different, then that's you. But in New York City, the rent is expensive now too. Like, everything's expensive. If you breathe too hard, you might have to pay for something. Like, this is insane to me. Yo, wrap this shit up. Wrap it up, 2023, because this year was crazy.
Hello everyone, this is Keynote Reacts, and we will be reacting to a new video today. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe down below, and let's get into the video.
Y'all, I was having a conversation with my mama the other day, and we were talking about just how it's crazy how expensive it is to live these days, because apparently some people in her neighborhood, she lives in Texas, apparently some people in her neighborhood are having to sell their houses because they just can't afford it anymore. So they're selling their houses and moving into RVs. Kind of like something I did. And I was like, yeah, that's crazy, because like a couple weeks ago, I went by and like checked all my bills, wrote everything down, what's coming out when, how much I have in bills, what I should have left over after bills. And I'm like, I bring home take home pay. Not what they say I made, the actual money that comes in my hand monthly. A little over $4,800 a month. $4,800 and some change monthly is what I actually bring home. And I'm struggling. I live in an RV, a nice RV in 2024. Payments are under $300. Lot rent under $800. So housing payments, Gucci. But it's crazy how even just putting a little bit of money to the side, a little bit in savings, I'm still struggling month to month. It's crazy out here. Like, a friend of mine just recently called me and she was like, Thompson, I'm really thinking about getting a roommate just to kind of help out with rent and bills and stuff like that. She has a damn good job. It's crazy how expensive life has gotten these days.
And who did that? The Democrats. Who is over this situation? Biden and Harris. They have created this inflation and cost of living is way too high for all of us. We cannot afford a Kamala. We cannot chance a Kamala. We have got to go out and vote November 5th. I hope that you guys realize everybody's hurting. Even if you are well-to-do, you're seeing your money not stretching the way it should be stretching, and you're struggling.
Everybody out here struggling. And I know not everybody, but a lot of people out here struggling. People who have two-income households. A friend of mine, her mom's a traveling nurse, and her dad does something where he makes like $80,000 a year, but they're living paycheck to paycheck. I'm just like, something has got to give. What's y'all's thoughts on this?
Nobody talks about how goddamn expensive it is to be a living, breathing human being on this floating goddamn rock, okay? But let me be the person to talk my motherfucking shit. Every single time I leave the house, I have to spend money. Also, can we talk about how we are the only beings on this planet that we have to pay to just live here? Like, I know animals ain't paying rent. I know these deer, these kangaroos, these bears, they ain't paying rent. So why the fuck do we have to? Why can't we just share the motherfucking land? Second thing I want to rant about are car issues. If you have a car and it's a few years old, you just have to prepare to just constantly be spending money towards your car. I have to get my AC fixed, $2,700. What? Don't even get me started on the materialistic things. Being a woman, I want to buy all the makeup in the world, all the bags in the world, all the shoes. I want to redo my wardrobe every 2 days. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Who created this? I don't want to be part of this simulation anymore. I don't want to keep spending money that's technically fake. Like, it's not even backed by gold anymore, so it doesn't even mean shit.
Let's have a conversation. Can we talk about how expensive life is right now? We were like, hey, let's do a cheap and easy dinner tonight. So we were going to get Little Caesars. We got a pizza, a thing of crazy bread, and a 2-liter of pop, and it was almost $17. That is crazy. I remember when Little Caesars was literally like $5 flat for the pizza. We stopped at the store on the way to get the pizza. I got a gallon of chocolate milk, and it was $7. And then I was like, ooh, I want like something sweet after my pizza. I got a Hershey's bar, $2.68, almost $3 for a candy bar. We went to McDonald's last night.
We can go on and on and on and on with these stories of how expensive it's gotten, and so many young people are speaking about it, ranting about it. I just hope that we really get the memo and understand that the cost of living, we cannot continue taking care of these migrants. That is a lot of the cost that we're facing. And it was caused by Biden and Kamala. And Kamala is running scared because She knows that Trump is ahead, but the media can't say that. They have to say it's a tie, kind of, that Kamala is ahead by a couple of points. I don't believe that. I think Trump is blowing her out of the water. But because migrants might be able to vote, we can't take no chances by sitting on the couch and figuring that everything's going to work out for itself. If you do that, we're screwed. So I really hope that people would support this channel by liking and sharing the video and also subscribing to my channel. I have to go because it's almost 3 hours and I've been on here long enough. So I want to play a song or two and then I'm going to go just to lift the mood, because this is such a serious conversation when talking about politics, and it kind of is depressing talking about politics. So I want to play Guy, Let's Chill, and maybe one request after I can play to like leave. Think of a song and I'll pick one out of the crowd to play. Just make sure it's an old school song, like a song that you remember back in the 80s or 90s, and I'll play that. Let's go.
Sweetheart, I've been trying so hard to get over you. Just simply can't. Cause the love we shared through the years meant so much to me. All I'm looking for is just a serious relationship so I can hold all my life. Why don't you give me that commitment? That self-doubt. Let's chill. Don't be afraid of me. My love is scary. But I promise everything will be alright. Come on, son. Let me talk to you. Let's chill. Oh, baby. Yeah. Let's chill. Let's chill. Baby. From the first time I saw your face, girl, I knew I had to have you. I wanted to wrap you in my warm embrace. Visions of your lovely face. All my love is for you. Whatever you want, I will do. You're the only one I want in my life. For you, I make that sacrifice. Oh, let's chill. Let's settle down. That's what I want. Just me and you. Yeah. Let's chill. Let's chill. Settle down. Come here, baby. That's all. That's all. I'm so happy to have you here, standing by my side. Is it a dream or reality? If it's a fantasy, please don't wake me. All my love is for you. Whatever you want, I will do. You're the
Settle down. All in my mind to do with you, baby. Let's chill. So, let's chill. Come on, baby. That's all I want to do with you. Forever and ever, ever and ever, ever and ever, always. Forever and ever, ever and ever, ever and ever, always.
Yes, 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 y'all. I can only play one more song because I need to take my dog out and I'm kind of exhausted. But next live, if y'all want me to end a little bit shorter, I will, and we can play a little bit of music for like a half an hour and I can get more selections. But the song that I saw first was Donald Byrd, Places and Spaces. So I'm going to play that song, and then after that, I'm going to have to cut the live, but I appreciate all your selections. Please remember what you want me to play, and maybe next time I can play that. I think tomorrow I will be taking the day off. I need to deal with my dog. I'm waiting for test results to come back. I think the results will be back tomorrow. And so I'm going to spend some time with her to try to figure out some stuff with the vet. Whatever results come back. So that's where my heart and my head will be. So I won't be able to come back on alive, but I will be back on Tuesday and we'll pick up where I left off at. We'll talk about another topic, or we'll see what's happening in the political streets. If anything comes of Kamala or any other controversy comes up, I will definitely consider talking about that. But I really appreciate everybody's support. If you enjoyed any of the live down to the music, please hit the like. All you got to do is hit the 3 dots and then press the thumb button for like. I will greatly appreciate that because I'm getting a whole host of views that's not matching the likes. But I do appreciate people watching because at least the message is getting out there. And it's important that the message gets out there. So with that being said, here is Donald Byrd, Places and Spaces.
Places and spaces out there. Oh, places and spaces out there. Oh, places and spaces out there. Oh, places and spaces out there.